So first of all, I'd like to say welcome, everyone, to the virtual caregiver retreat for families and caregivers of children with FASD and or of parents who are spirited and intense and challenging. My name is Hiltrud Dawson, and I am the team lead at Health Nexus. At Health Nexus, we work to support communities and families with FASD through several projects, and we also support parents and parents-to-be through many resources listed at www.beststar.org. Before we get started, I'd like to read a land acknowledgement. So we will begin this virtual caregiver retreat session 2 by acknowledging that we're meeting on Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. As settlers, we're grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Long before today, as we gather here, there have been Aboriginal peoples who have been the stewards of this place. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place. We also recognize the contributions of Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples have made, both in shaping and strengthening our province and country as a whole. As settlers, this recognition of the contributions and historic importance of Indigenous peoples must also be clearly and overtly connected to our collective commitment to make the promise and the challenge of truth and reconciliation real in our communities, and in particular to bring justice for murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls across the country. And with this, I would like to invite all families here tonight, Indigenous, long-time settlers, and newcomers to Canada to enjoy this session. This session is all about the children. So Sherilyn Kirshner has spent the last 30 years of her life being awed and inspired by the wisdom of children globally. As an elementary teacher, outdoor education leadership center, summer camp owner, and yoga mindfulness educator, she has focused her professional life on teaching children to love, honor, and accept themselves. She taught in the school system for 30 years, working with children from JK to grade 12 to foster emotional self-regulation skills. Sherilyn is also the founder of Mindful Me, which focuses on sharing the benefits of mindfulness practices with children, teenagers, parents, and teachers internationally. And with that, I'd like you all to join me in welcoming Sherilyn.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. What an incredible honor to be with you tonight. I am so honored to be able to share a mindfulness practice and play a little bit of mindfulness. So if this is your first time practicing mindfulness or your 45,000th time practicing mindfulness, we're going to ask you to embrace an open mind tonight. And, oh, there we go. And so what I would like to, first of all, just say that it was very helpful for me to see who is attending tonight, because I will gear the work that we're going to be doing tonight to the different age levels. So for little ones that are joining us, if we start talking about the brain and it gets kind of boring, you can tag in and tag out. So often when I'm at school and I'm teaching all different age levels in the gym, for example, people just say to me, Mrs. K, and they go like this, they're going to tag out for a minute and then just relax, because our brains work so hard all day. And it's really important to start to really listen and honor your body. So we will try our best tonight, Marvin and I, to share strategies for all different age levels. However, if you have questions, we will leave a spot for that at the end about specific activities for different age levels. I have created a resource package, and now that I see that, I am going to add a few more things for older kids, and that will be sent out after the workshop. So we're going to start off with little ones first, because we want to capture their attention while they're with us. So what is mindfulness? What is mindfulness? So if I've heard this maybe in the news, or maybe my teacher at school has talked to me about it. I may have all kinds of different definitions of what is mindfulness. And tonight we are going to practice some mindfulness together. We're going to do some movement, and we're going to do some breathing. And maybe by the end, you will have a new definition of what is mindfulness. For me, mindfulness is paying attention to what is going on right now in this moment, in a kind and accepting way, because mindfulness is all about being non-judgmental and being kind to our hearts. And, oh, Marvin is saying what he thinks mindfulness is. Here's Marvin the Mindful Marmot. Oh, what is that? Marvin's feeling a little bit nervous about being in front of all of you. And what do you notice, Marvin, in your body when you're feeling nervous? He's noticing that his tummy is turning around. Well, Marvin, don't you worry, because we are going to play some mindfulness that's going to help with that. So Marvin is so incredibly precious to us because he is an endangered species. And I am sure that many of you out there know what an endangered species is. It means that there's hardly any left. At one time, it's actually Canada's most endangered species. Yes, he's pretty proud of that. Not something to be really proud of. At one time, there were only 30 marmots left. 30 Vancouver Island marmots left. That's it. But because of all what we're doing tonight, becoming a mindful mate, and we're going to talk about that, how you can become a mindful mate, people are starting to become more aware about Marvin, and they are helping him out. And we're going to share tonight some ways that you can become a mindful mate. Oh, right. Marvin, we're going to set you right down. And Marvin just reminded me of my very favorite question. So this is a question that I have probably asked 45,000 times. And they say at school or when I'm traveling and teaching, most people call me Mrs. K. And they say, oh, Mrs. K, that is your favorite question. And it is, because I ask it all of the time, because it helps us become more mindful. The question is, what do you notice? So just try saying that out loud. And teens, you're not too cool for school. Nobody's going to hear you. Just ask yourself, what do you notice? What do I notice? And in mindfulness, we're going to ask ourselves, what do I notice going on in my body? What do I notice going on in my heart? Because it's so important to listen to our hearts and be kind to our hearts. And what do I notice going on in our minds? Like right now, mom or dad, who's ever with you, they might be actually thinking about what they're going to do, what they have left to do before it's bedtime. And that is mindfulness, as recognizing what is going on right now in our minds. And so we're going to do all kinds of check-ins throughout this whole workshop that is going to help us become more mindful just by noticing. And yes, Marvin, I agree. I'm noticing that my body really wants to move. We've been sitting long enough. So let's just stand up. We need to be able to move so you can see me, sweethearts. And you teens, you can join us too. And so we're just going to stand up. We're just going to shake and 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 breathe. And then notice, which foot is warmer than the other? So if I check in with my feet and just hold up the foot that's warmer, and then shake and shake and shake and shake and shake and shake, and notice if it's still warmer, and see if you can stand on the foot that is the coldest. We're going to warm it up. And we can balance. We can bring one foot out to the side, farther, 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 or out to the back, farther, farther, farther. Or we can hop around and high five somebody with our foot. In the house, we could high five our dog very gently. Oh, high five him with our foot. Great job. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. And so we're starting to wake up our bodies and wake up our brains. And yes, Marvin, yes, we do have a song that helps us put on a mindful bodysuit that helps us really become aware of what is going on around us. And I'm just going to share with you the words, and you will get these words. So no worries, sweethearts. There's Marvin and all. Oh, he's doing tree pose. That's a pose that we might do tonight. So great for that back part of your brain. Right now, you can touch this back part of your brain. It's the cerebellum. Try saying that. The cerebellum. Cindy cerebellum. She helps us balance. So these are the mindful mates that we're going to meet tonight. They are all in danger and in need of our help. So we need to become super aware. So there's my favorite question. What do you notice? And right now I notice, but I'm feeling so grateful in my heart to be able to share this time with you. So grateful. Here's our mindful body song. So you can see it's kind of long. It has all kinds of different actions. And so I'm going to make myself big so that you can see the actions, but you can see there's a chorus, which is a part that we're going to sing over and over again. And then there are actions that go with it that actually help us become more aware. So you will get the words to these songs, sweethearts. This song, actually, my class was my grade 6 class. I think I was teaching at that time. It was quite a while ago. They helped me write the words to it. Okay, let me put my glasses on. Here we go. So we want to go crisscross applesauce. And then just notice if your body wants to move. Sometimes it's great to shake those sillies out. For older kids, it's wonderful to really get this movement of neurons up and down your spine. You can hold on to your knees and just start to roll back and forth. This is so great for your brain. It helps wake up all of your body. And older kids, try to give me a boat pose. So we can stand like this, freeze, and then maybe bring one foot up, and then the other foot up. And then what do we notice? Old parents try it. It's great on the abs. Okay, now we're going to say crisscross applesauce. And for older kids, notice which leg is in front. And now switch it. And now notice. So now your brain may be going, wow, this is so weird. It's like when we cross our arms and then try to cross them the other way. And it starts to wake up our brain. Okay, so this is the mindful body song. When I am in my mindful body, my back is straight and tall and strong. Do you know, I used to have a granny that used to say, sit up straight, sit up straight. And it wasn't until I became a teacher that I understood that my brain works better when I sit up straight. And we're going to learn about the parts of the brain tonight and see why sitting up straight helps us think better. When I am in my mindful body, my back is straight and tall and strong. It's like a string pulls me up higher, and my breath just follows along. And we know when we practice mindfulness, we can pay attention to our breath. And this is called the shush breath. It can help us calm down. Sometimes when we're super angry, it might not be easy to do it, but we can practice away from when we're angry. So we create all of those pathways in our brain. So when we become angry, it's easier to calm down. So this is the shush breath. Just watch, or you can join me right away. It goes like this. Shh. Let's try one together. Great job. I can reach up to the ceiling, grab my wrist and stretch out long, then do the same thing on the other side, and my breath just follows along. When I was a teacher, I would start off the day and I would say, shush breath, everybody, let's do another one. Shh. And sometimes by the end of the day, after seeing all the kids, I would go, shush, first everyone, shh. So we can do a slow shush breath, or we can do a fast shush breath. When I am in my mindful body, my back is straight and tall and strong. It's like a string pulls me up higher, and my breath just follows along. I can twist my body backwards, and twists are great if you ever have a sore tummy. Sometimes if we are nervous about things like Marvin was, twisting helps relax our belly. Looking far back and beyond, then do the same thing on the other side, and my breath just follows along. Sometimes we're really angry, and we can practice doing what's called a volcano breath to let go of all that anger. It goes like this. Sometimes parents can try this. It's wonderful. Do it in your car. Let's do two together. One more volcano breath, taking all that anger or frustration or irritation. It's great to learn these words and mix it all up inside, and then like a volcano. Great job. And our last part of the song is, I can close my eyes and breathe. Let's do a peace breath. Oh, let's try one more. Oh, and listen to my body's signs. And with some practice, I can concentrate, and I can learn to be more kind. Make your hands into a heart in whichever way you want. And this is the kindness breath. So we also want to really focus on culturing our heart, making our heart super, super aware of all the beautiful things that it has around it. So the kindness breath, we make a heart, and then we think of someone that we want to send kindness to. And we take a huge breath. So I'm going to send kindness to all of you. Take a huge breath, and then we blow the kindness out through our heart. So we can send it to our dog, or we have 100 rabbits at our farm. I could send all kinds of kindness to my rabbits. Or I can send it to Marvin because he's so incredibly important to me. Great job. So now that we have our mindful body on, I'm going to actually do an activity that is for our older kids. So we know this is our brain, and we know that we have a line right down the middle that's called the corpus callosum. Try saying that, corpus callosum. Whenever I introduce new terms, we would say it once, and then we would say it 3 times really fast. Corpus callosum, corpus callosum, corpus callosum. We know that there are certain activities that we can do that gets one half of our brain to talk to the other half. So it gets information to flow from one side of the brain to the other. And when you were little, your parents knew that it was really important that you crawled, because that is what makes an integrated brain, a brain that has one half of it talking to the other half and can really help you think. So there is an exercise. Now, little guys, this, you can take a time out or you can try this, but don't get frustrated. We're just going to play a little mindfulness. It's no big deal if we can't do it. So it's called a cross crawl. So you're going to take one hand and you're going to go from one side of the body to the other. So we go like this. We start off like this. And now these neurons, all of these little tiny messenger cells in our brain, we have billions of them, are starting to move from one part of our brain to the other. Then we can make it a little bit trickier. We can take our elbow and go across to our knee. And now our mind may be going, whoa, this is a lot. And then we can switch it up. We could go behind, 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 behind. And then we can make it even trickier. We can go one in front and one behind, one in front and one behind. And the song is called I Am Smart. The mindful move, I am smart, is a challenge for me and you. Crossover in the front, crossover in the back. Watch while we make a switcheroo. And let's do one piece breath. And then with my older kids, my grade 5s and 6s and 7s, I go a little bit faster. Okay, here we go. Check it out. Okay. The mindful move, I am smart, is a challenge for me and you. Crossover in the front, crossover in the back. Watch while we make a switcheroo. Good job, shake it out. And then what do you notice? I notice I'm sweating. I do notice that. Marvin is laughing at me. He's noticing that I'm sweating. Share with the people around your room. What do you notice? What do you notice? I notice I'm feeling pretty happy. And I've let go. This morning I woke up kind of cranky. And it was on my mind all day, that thing that made me cranky. And then when I thought about sharing this with you, it made me so much happier in my heart. And isn't that funny about emotions? They just come and they go. We're not our emotions, they just visit us. Now we are going to do it a little bit slower. So remember we said that back part of our brain, right back here, Cindy cerebellum, we're going to actually create all kinds of movement in that part of our brain because we're going to have to balance, because we're going to go slower. The mindful move, I am smart, is a challenge for me and you. Now parents might be thinking, is she going to sing this slow the whole time? Noticing. Crossover in the front. Crossover in the back. Watch while we make a switcheroo. Good job. Shake breath. Good job, good job, good job. Okay, we are going to share another song. Here we go. Thank you so much for playing some mindfulness with me. So this one, we have Granny Marmot there and Farouk, the black-footed ferret. So Granny Marmot is a Vancouver Island marmot. She is endangered. And Farouk is a black-footed ferret. He is the second most endangered animal in Canada. So this is going to help us balance our brain. It's going to help us work on concentrating and focusing this activity. And there's only 3 movements. There's one, I am awake, I am creative, and I am hopeful. And the whole song has some cross-crawling in it. So it's sending information all the way around our brain. Okay, goes like this. I am awake, and now I am creative. There is a movement that is called a lazy 8. And parents, this is an incredible movement for creating an integrated brain. We can draw these lazy 8s, has an incredible impact on the brain. We can do thumbs up for lazy 8s, and we look at our thumb and we follow it with our eyes. With little ones, we can make it into a chopping movement. We're chopping wood, but we're drawing lazy 8s in the air. And this is what we call brain gym, parents, if you want to look that up at all. Phenomenal for the brain. So we call this move, I am creative. Or for older people, for your teens, this is actually a Qigong move. So we're going to pretend that we have a ball in front of us, and then we draw At 8, it's called rotating the ball. So that's for older people. This is like Qigong, the movement of energy. Okay, so it goes, I am awake and I am creative. I am awake and I am creative. I'm awake and I am creative. The last one is a super balance. It is eagle pose for you yogis out there. We're going to put one foot, one leg over the other. You can put a kickstand down if you like to help you balance, or you can wrap your foot around behind. And whatever leg's on top, you're going to put that arm underneath. For you 9 and 10-year-olds, for little ones, you can just give yourself a hug, whichever feels best. And then this is, I am hopeful today. And then we try to go lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. And we can hop around and have a tea party with someone. Oh, darling, how are you today? You're looking lovely. And the whole time we are working on our balance. Great job. Shake it out. And we're going to do the other side. I am awake and I am creative. I am awake and I am creative. I'm awake and I am creative. I am other leg, hopeful today. Sitting down low, 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 low. Big, strong back. Whichever leg is on top, that arm is underneath. And now how low can you go? Oh, and can you get up? Ooh, lovely, like an elevator breath. And all the way down and all the way up. And bring your foot out to the side. High five someone close to you with your foot. Ooh, good job. See if you can touch feet and not move. Oh, practicing stillness. That's what mindfulness is about too. Brilliant. Great job. Good job. And our last one. Oh, so great. Our last song is called Happiness Runs. So we know that it takes all of our beautiful hearts to keep people safe around the world and to spread all kinds of beautiful, kind thoughts. And we're going to share an exercise with that in a little while. So this song, and parents, whenever we change the pace of something, that creates different neural development. So we want to do something at a slow pace, do something at a fast pace, and then we freeze, and then we notice. And this would be, for a little one, this might be their meditation for the day. Okay. So sometimes when you get older, when you roll parts of your body, they crack. And so try right now, just rolling your wrists, put them up by your ears, and what do you notice? Because we notice our senses can help bring us to the present moment. So we can focus on our hearing right now. Oh, I'm noticing some, Marvin, yes, I am noticing some cracking. And then we can do that with our elbows. And we can do that with our hips. And we can do that with our knees. So it goes like this. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Peace on earth is very important to me. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can have it all if you let yourself be. Relax and let go. Relax and let go. And let's do a wave breath. Let's do a 4-7-8 breath for the older kids out there. If you ever have a hard time going to sleep at night, this is a great breath. You're going to breathe in for 4. You're going to hold your breath for 7. And you're going to exhale for 8. Every time we double our exhale to our inhale, we stimulate what's called the parasympathetic system, and it calms us down. Okay, let's try it. Shake, 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 shake. Okay, inhaling. Hold. Exhaling. That is a great breath if you are having a hard time getting to sleep. Or if you are feeling anxious, if you're ever feeling some anxiety, I used to teach that to all my grade 7, 8, 9, 10 students to say before a test. Also, for test taking, I remember one time my daughter came home from university with one of her tests, and in the top right-hand corner, there was a little 8. And I said, "What happened here, sweetie?" And she said, "Oh, my brain was stuck. I just needed to give it a little bump." So all of these things can help us. We're going to sing just a little bit faster. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Peace on earth is very important to me. Everybody is part of everything anyway. You can have it all if you let yourself be. Relax and let go. Relax and let go. Big volcano breath. What about a dragon breath? Oh, that feels so great. Let's do one more. Parents, join us. Oh my goodness, you let go of all that stuff inside. And then we watch the judgmental mind. Oh my goodness. Can we just have fun? Okay, sweethearts, thank you so much for playing some mindfulness with me. Oh my goodness, Marvin, I'm sweating. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. So we've done lots of movement, and now we want to practice not only moving, but becoming still. And that is a practice, sweethearts. Guys, that is a practice. It takes practice to learn how to relax. You have to practice it every day, even if it's just for like 1 minute. So we have a game that I have played with so many people all over the world, and it's such a beautiful game. It's called the Bell Game. We know that when we focus on our senses, we can create an integrated brain, a brain that is mindful and aware, and it can help us pay attention. So this activity really works on helping us pay attention. So for this game, in a moment, I am going to ring the singing bowl. Wherever you are, as soon as you start to hear it, so let's say you're jumping on the bed or you are petting your cat, for the length of just this bell, you are going to try to stay as still as you can, frozen like a popsicle. And we want to, if we're noticing our body wants to move, we're going to see if we can catch it just before it moves. Okay? Okay, here we go. Maybe a peace breath. Okay, here's the bell game. Now we're going to play it a few times. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. You don't need to. When I practice at school, sometimes it's hard if somebody's looking at you in the face like this to really concentrate. So sometimes I'll say, let's just respect everybody else around us, and we're going to just look down for today. And that's how we practice to begin with. But if you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, it is not at all necessary. And so we want to stay as still as we can for just the length of the spell. Now, just notice, older kids, if you've already tuned out. It's like, oh, it's on my phone. It's so interesting to notice, really, where the mind is. Okay, here we go. So parents, so then when the bell is done, or when the noise, whatever instrument that you're playing is done, then we usually put our hand up to say that, oh, this is when my hearing has stopped. I don't hear any more sound. So we focus on a sound, and then we focus on the hearing no sound, on silence. So this is when I wish so much I could see your beautiful faces, because I would say, how many people noticed that their body wanted to move? And I would have you put up your hand. How many people noticed that they started to think about something else, like, when is this going to be over? Or How many people felt, oh my goodness, I can finally relax. So this is a practice, and really it does not matter. And this is what's different, parents, when we teach mindfulness than any other subject. It does not matter the content of what is shared. It is the noticing that creates the neural pathways in the brain. So often when I'll do this and I'll say, what did you notice? And somebody will say, Mrs. K, I can't stand mindfulness. It's driving me crazy today. I can't stand it. I can just feel my body wanting to move. And I always say, great noticing. Wow, great noticing. Because we need to get away from judging ourselves and focus in on noticing. So that is the bell game. And we can take different instruments. So this may be the length of what we practice. This is 30 seconds. This is how I usually measure attention at the beginning of the year when I'm teaching people. Say, oh, who's able to find stillness today? And who's struggling to find stillness? Ah, interesting. And then I may take another bell. Let's play it. So now I'm going to play another bell, and you're going to notice where you feel it in your body. Here we go. Eyes are closed or looking down or just relaxing, noticing how your body's feeling, moving into stillness. And I might ask people, where did you feel that in your body? And some people might say, nothing. I don't feel anything. That's okay. And other people might say, oh, I felt it ringing in my heart. Or, oh, it gave me a terrible pain in my head. A lot of the times we notice what it feels like inside. And we can share right now with somebody around you. What did you notice when you heard this sound? Good noticing, great noticing. And then, now, if you don't have a singing bowl at home, parents, and we want to just practice this skill, we can play a game that's called Inside-Outside Sounds, focusing on hearing. And so we can sit, we can find a comfortable spot and maybe take our very special stuffed animal and say, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to listen to all the sounds inside this room. And with little ones, I might say, what do you hear? Oh, I hear the heater. I hear the furnace. Or if I'm practicing with someone in a big room, I hear someone talking. I hear somebody shuffling their feet. And then we practice stretching our hearing super far away. And so we can do this with outside. And so we can hear sounds down the road. And the whole time we're practicing stillness so that we can hear, because this is a skill that we want to practice. Okay, so we're going to play one more game. And for this, you have a conversation with your body. So this can be played with little ones or with older people or teenagers. I play this in my night adult meditation class. And it is called the most comfortable position game. And the way that it's played is you are going to ask your body to get into the most comfortable position as possible. So maybe it is lying down on your back. Maybe I'm asking my body, asking. Or maybe it is putting my knees up in the air. Or if I really want to relax, teens and adults at the end of the day or little ones, you can hug the wall like this and then put your feet up the wall and just let your whole body relax. So that might be the most comfortable position. Or if I still have lots of energy, maybe this is the most comfortable position my body is in. But the way that we play this game is we go moving. And so the whole time I'm saying moving, You are moving your body and having a conversation with your body. What is the most comfortable position it can get into? So I'll say moving, moving, and then I will count down 3, 2, 1. And when I say 1, you need to freeze. And when I play this with adults, it's quite hilarious because our bodies talk to us all the time. And we may listen when our bodies whisper to us. Quite often we don't listen until they shout at us. So this is a beautiful exercise to develop the subtleties of awareness of what is going on inside our body and honoring them. Okay, so for little ones and anyone who wants to play this game, when I say moving, 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 3, 2, 1, I am going to ring the bell again. Now, you can use any instrument at all. You can use a rain stick or jingling, whatever you like. But for the length of that sound, we need to practice stillness. Okay, so we're going to practice stillness. So whatever position your body is in when I ring the bell, that's where you have to freeze. Okay, here we go. So moving, 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 listening to the hints that your body's giving. Maybe you have a sore belly. Maybe you want to lie down in a twist. This is a great position. If you ever have a sore tummy, hold your legs up and then allow them to fall over to one side and twist your body or twist your body. If you have a sore lower back, you can bend your knees when you lie down. Okay, moving, moving, listening to your body. 3, 2, 1. Great job. And now find another position. Moving, moving, maybe experimenting on your belly or on your side. And parents maybe noticing how your lower back feels or your shoulders feel. How can we get into a position that allows our body to relax? Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Great job. And then I might say to the people who I'm teaching, I might say, scooch over beside an elbow partner or somebody that you could share and share with them, what do you notice going on inside you right now? What do you notice? How does your body feel from when we were jumping around and balancing and bringing energy to Cindy's cerebellum? What did you notice going on there in comparison to when we started to practice stillness? And do you notice anything different in the room from when you are practicing activity and when you are practicing stillness? So just have a conversation right now with anybody that's around you, or parents, if you're on your own, just maybe take a moment to reflect what you noticed. Thank you for sharing that. So before we go on, I want to teach, because there are some older kids in this group. So little ones, you can relax and you can listen if you like. You might want to take a break, go and get a little snack. But I would like to spend a few moments to honor the older people in the group to explain how we teach the parts of the brain and why mindfulness matters. So this is based on Daniel Siegel's research, and it's called the hand model of the brain. So often I'll say, and I just taught this the other night in a meditation class, we're going to put our hand into our fist with our thumb inside. So we can actually compare this to the model of a real brain. And we can see what parts of our brain are affected by mindfulness practice. So let's say, for example, if we had two thumbs, this would be perfect. But if we wrap our fingers around here, this is, well, down here, this is called the brain stem. Try saying that. That's the brain stem. This is where all of the automatic processes, that and our palm right here, we call this the reptilian brain. This is where all the automatic processes of our body take place. So it controls our heart rate and our temperature in our body and our respiration, how we breathe. So all of these are processes that we don't look after, because if we had to look after, we would probably forget and maybe stop breathing, or our heart may stop beating. As we go around to the cortex, this is responsible, this is the mammalian brain, this is responsible for our higher level thinking, our decision making, our ability to pause and reflect before we react. This part right here inside, if we had two of them, this is Amy amygdala. So we tell the kids, this is the emotional part of our brain. This reacts to any emotion. It's our fight, flight, and freeze center. So this is what keeps us safe if a tiger was chasing us. The unfortunate thing is our brain doesn't know the difference between stress, real stress, like a tiger chasing us, and imposed stress from our minds. So what we say is, what part of our fist can touch all the different parts of our brain? Well, if we look right here, this is called the prefrontal cortex, the Poindexter, the PFC. The cool thing is that if we do activities that make this area of the brain grow, when you hold your fist, you may notice that this touches your amygdala and it touches the back part down to your brainstem, all your automatic parts of your brain. And so if we affect that, we affect our entire brain. The cool thing is, parents, is that one of the main processes of that is paying attention. And so when we do mindfulness, when we practice mindfulness, they find that this area of the brain actually begets more neural networks. We can actually change the biology of our brain, the neurobiology, just by breathing or just by noticing. So it's pretty amazing that we can build our brain, build our Poindexter, the PFC, just by taking a breath. We can become more attuned in the way that we communicate with one another just by practicing breathing. So if you're interested, I give courses in neurobiology of the brain. I am just a brain junkie. I just love it so much. Okay, sweethearts, everybody come back. Let's just do a little bit of breathing before we read some things about Marvin. So this is, you may have seen these before. This is a breathing ball. And in a moment after we read our story, we're going to actually talk about creating a toolkit that you may already have in your house or maybe in your classroom that has tools, not toys, tools to help us calm down. And this is one. This is a breathing ball. And so for this breathing ball, I always say I carried this on the plane from China when I was teaching over in China, because they're really cheap over there. And so we need to take really good care of our tools. And so whatever color we choose on one side, we choose the same color on the other side. And we can practice our breathing, creating new neural pathways in our brain that help us calm down. And so when I go like this, we're going to take a deep breath. And when I go like this, we're going to exhale. So it goes like this. And now what do you notice? Notice? Yes, Marvin, I'm a little bit out of breath. Now, if we don't have a breathing ball, we still have our own breathing ball. We can close up our breathing ball and then we can open. This is a great thing you can practice in the car. Practicing our breathing, creating those pathways in our brain that can help us calm down because it takes practice. Here we go. Great job. Now we can challenge ourselves with our breathing also. We can do breaths to energize us, like a chain breath. Join me. If you're ever tired and the third coffee hasn't worked, train breaths. Or we can practice our focus. And for this one, it's called a silent puffer fish. This is practicing paying attention. So my granny that said, pay attention. She expected me to pay attention. God love her, loved her to pieces. But I was never taught how, or I wasn't given a lot of opportunities to practice. So this is practicing paying attention. So it's called the silent pufferfish breath. And it goes like this. The really cool thing for older people is that when we open up these areas of our cheeks, it's kind of like giving our brain a hug. It's really lovely for our lymphatic system. So for our pufferfish, silent pufferfish, it goes like this. And you try to be as quiet as you can. Try it again. And then we can share what we noticed going on inside. I noticed I wanted to go faster. Marvin, what were you saying? Oh, Marvin loves this breath. It's not his favorite breath. We're going to learn his favorite breath in a moment, but he really likes this breath. Oh, he wants to do the raspberry pufferfish breath. This is what tests our control. So raspberry pufferfish goes like this. And we can share, what do we notice? Well, I noticed my lips were spitting, spitting all around. And the test is, I always find when I do this, is, first of all, can I do this and be serious? Or does it lighten up the mood? Because we all need to lighten up a little bit. Life is not so serious. And then we try to do a pufferfish, a silent pufferfish afterwards. So let's try a raspberry and then a silent one and notice how much you want to do more raspberries. Okay, here we go. Great job. We also know that when we share gratitude, and we're going to talk about that in one moment after our reading Marvin, that we actually release a chemical that's called serotonin. Makes us healthier, calms us down. So we can do a gratitude breath. And for that breath, because remember, mindfulness is being kind to your heart also, we're going to cross one hand in front of the other and you're going to hold it at your heart. And then you're going to think of somebody that may need a little bit of a hug today, a socially distanced hug. And you may feel super, super grateful that that person is in your life. So you take a deep breath, imagining that person in your mind. Okay, so we're going to imagine that person in your mind. And then when you exhale, you open up your hands and you send gratitude to them. Let's try it again. So you may want to choose the same person or you may want to choose someone else. So feeling gratitude, picturing them in your mind. And then sending gratitude out to them, like, I am so thankful that you are in my life. One last one. Thank you so much for doing some breathing with me. And hopefully we have calmed down a little bit. But if we hadn't, that's okay too. We always want to be kind to ourselves and to just accept where we are right now. Because by holding that in awareness, like recognizing, oh, I'm feeling kind of cranky today, or in this moment, I'm feeling really tired. That is so beautiful for your brain. Okay, so I would feeling so much gratitude right now. I am really, really looking forward to sharing the story of Marvin the Mindful Marmot with you. We're going to learn a little bit about Marvin afterwards, but I would just like to share the story with you right now. So this story I wrote quite a few years ago with my grade 4 class, and we were really interested in finding a character who could be a champion for mindfulness, who could really show people how important mindfulness is and being aware. So we came up with Marvin the Mindful Marmot. And I'll tell you a little bit about Marvin as we go. So these are Marvin's mates. These are all of his buddies, his friends, and they are all endangered species too. He has some best friends that we're going to meet in a minute. All right. One sunny afternoon, Marvin the Marmot and his friends were rock hounding. And rock hounding is a great mindfulness activity. And we're going to talk about how we can do that after this story. Sassy the shrew quickly tired of the treasure hunt and began to practice her taekwondo. Kee-yup, she yelled. I'm so ready for my green belt. Yeah, bring on those boards. I'll destroy them. And there's Marvin gathering his rocks. All of a sudden, "Rah!" a furry face burst through the wall of grass. The three friends jumped back in shock. Then Marvin's loud whistles rang out through the air. Sassy and Bernie the burrowing owl ran for cover. Gunner the gray wolf rolled on the ground laughing. And so this is what marmots do when they're so afraid. It's called a marmot breath. It goes like this. Watch your ears. And you can check on YouTube the sound that they actually make. It's a really loud whistle. And Gunner the gray wolf is saying, you are some whistle pig. Because actually in Vancouver, that's what they call them. Once he was gone, Sassy asked Marvin, are you okay? He's always up to no good. I should have scared him off with my super axe kick. Bernie said, Sassy, that wouldn't be a good choice. Marvin was embarrassed about the loud whistling sound he made. When he was scared, he added, I just can't stop it. When I'm afraid, I just can't control myself. Now, have you ever had that feeling before when you're really afraid or really angry and you can't control yourself? I know sometimes I can't. And so it's super important to practice mindfulness so that we can help ourselves calm down. So let's see what happens to Marvin. Sassy's face lit up suddenly. I know. Let's go see Granny Marmot. She'll know what to do. And with that, the three friends set off in the direction of Boulder Valley, home of the famous and well-loved grandmother. Marvin told Granny everything and then added, I try my best, Granny, but then it's all whistles and screeches. Granny Marmot paused and asked, so wise to pause. When you get scared, what do you notice going on inside your body? Marvin replied, I don't know. It all happens so fast. I guess I don't notice anything. Then I think it's time that we practice, she replied. Practice? Practice what? Marvin asked. I don't think he needs any more practice screaming his head off, Granny, Bernie said. You ever have a friend like that? But Bernie is Marvin's best friend. I mean practicing listening to your body, answered Granny. Listening to my body, Marvin questioned. I don't understand. Okay, let's try a game. Choose a rock near me and lie down on it. Granny then asked, what do you notice? And the really cool thing is that marmots actually do this. When they want to calm down, they lay down on rocks to regulate their body temperature, to get them to calm themselves down. Bernie says, I notice I feel kind of silly lying here on this rock. So he's noticing his emotions. Marvin says, nothing. I don't really notice anything. And Sassy says, I notice my back is killing me. So take a moment right now and notice how you feel in your body. You are beginning to notice what you are feeling and thinking, Granny said gently. After a few silent moments, Marvin piped up, I noticed my tummy is gurgling, and I don't think I should have eaten those 5 oat grass tacos. It feels like, oh, Marvin! Sorry. Marvin apologized to his friends. I noticed my tummy is feeling better now. Sassy quickly fanned away the awful smell. I notice my nose is burning and my eyes are watering. Granny chuckled. Well, you are beginning to listen to your body, which can be very helpful to you. Then Granny asked, see if you can follow one breath as it moves in and out of your body. What do you notice? Oh, there's our favorite question again. Marvin took a deep breath. I see my belly go up and down. Taking a breath can help you calm down and be more mindful. Breathe in, breathe out, notice. That's easy enough, Marvin thought to himself. In, out, notice. In, out, notice. Marvin began to practice breathing and noticing. Will that help me not be a whistle pig, Granny? Asked Marvin. Well, it takes practice, and it's also important to be kind to yourself. Being a whistle pig has its pluses too, you know, added Granny. And it's super important, parents too, to be super kind to yourself. You are doing the best that you can with what you have in this moment, and that is enough. The next day, Marvin had a hard morning at school. Sassy was angry because she thought that Marvin had laughed at her picture. Then Racer the snake accidentally knocked over paint with his tail, and Gunner blamed Marvin. Mr. Wolverine noticed Marvin was upset. Why don't you try the calming corner, Marvin? Okay, said Marvin. As he sat, he thought about Granny Marmot. All I notice is I am mad and my head hurts. But let's take a peek. We're going to talk about this in a minute, having a special place in your house to help you calm down, to practice mindfulness. And it's great to practice when you're not upset, just going in and practicing. So let's see what Marvin has in his class calming corner. So he has some lavender because we know smelling things that we like to smell that have really good smells can calm us down. He has a pillow to relax. He has a timer because we know when we count anything, it helps calm Amy amygdala, that emotional part of the brain. And he has some bubbles to practice his breathing. And then he has a pine cone because we know we can hold things and see how they feel. And that calms down the thinking mind just by holding something and telling how it feels, its texture. So he's still feeling pretty bad. At recess time, Marvin's friends tried to cheer him up. Bernie said, "Granny Marmot said to breathe and notice." "I know," replied Marvin. Then his friends had an idea. "How about a bee breath?" Bzzz. Try that, bee breath. Bzzz. What do you notice? Oh, I notice my tongue is tickling. Or what about a snake breath? And we have contests where we can do the longest snake breath. So we breathe in, and then we try to go as long as we can without taking a breath. Everyone was laughing and making up new breaths. And that's a beautiful thing to do. Just make up your own breath. And I have had hundreds and hundreds of kids share different breaths. And if you go to my website, www.mindfulme.ca, you can, and it'll be on your package, you can see videos of kids teaching breaths that they made up. So you can make your own breaths up. Marvin noticed he felt different inside. And this is the great thing about breathing. Or an owl breath. Whoo! Try it. Whoo! Marvin said, "Marvin, let's try a wolf breath." Oh! In music class, Marvin felt better. He announced, "Let's start with the conductor breath. Breathe in when I bring the baton up. Breathe out when I bring it down, and hold your breath when it goes sideways." So Marvin really wants to show you this breath. When we were writing this story, the kids in our school said, "Mrs. K, you have to include the conductor breath because it is the most favorite breath of our entire school." So you can play this with anybody. You need just a little baton. And so the conductor also has to breathe. Okay, you can't just kill us, Marvin. So whenever the baton goes up, you breathe in. And he's holding it sideways. You have to hold your breath. And when he brings it down, you exhale. Okay, Marvin, be gentle with us. Great job. Thanks, Marvin. Okay, conductor breath. Marvin led the class in a series of breaths. Everyone burst into giggles when he raised the baton up and down and up and down and up and down quickly. Marvin noticed his head felt light. "Who wants to be next?" Marvin asked, holding out the baton. I do, Racer slid forward, but then his tail knocked the corner of the huge cymbals. What do you think that Marvin is going to do? Oh no, Marvin's ear-piercing whistle screeched loudly. Everyone tried to hide to block out the noise. All of a sudden, Marvin noticed the baton in his hand. He raised it above his head and took a deep breath. His screeching stopped right away. He held his breath in shock and then slowly exhaled as his hand lowered. Oh, if it was only so easy. Wow, Marvin, that was amazing. You did that all by yourself, beamed Sassy. Well, I guess I did, Marvin replied. Then he thought about Granny Marmot and all of his friends and added, lots of people helped me practice, though. As the friends headed home, Bernie, Sassy, and Marvin talked about the day while making up new breaths. Just before Sassy said goodbye, she leaned over to Marvin and said, promise me one thing. What's that? Asked Marvin. Warn us. Next time there's going to be a marmot breath. And the three friends laughed together. Marvin noticed he felt warm and happy inside as he headed to share his news with Granny Marmot. He was learning to become more mindful, and he wanted more chances to practice. So that's Marvin the Mindful Marmot. Thank you for listening. Wow, just amazing. So for parents, if you are interested in these books, so far we have two. We have this one, Marvin the Mindful Marmot, and we have Marvin the Mindful Marmot Comes to His Senses. This is about using sensory awareness to focus to practice mindfulness. And back at the back of both books and the compassion one that's coming out soon, there are activities that you can do with your family. And then there are helpful hints to parents and teachers for teaching mindfulness. One of them is to always honor whatever is shared, so we don't ever look for an occasion to be offended. We might, if someone says, "Oh, I can't stand this," thank you, great noticing. And then at the very back, there is a section that talks about an endangered species. So this first one is on Marvin. And on the back, you can see that there is a little symbol for the Marmot Foundation, because every time one of these books is bought, $1 goes towards the Marmot Foundation. So let's just share a little bit about Marvin and his mindful mates. Here we go. So Marvin is a Vancouver Island marmot. So they are only found on Vancouver Island. That's the only place where they are found all over the entire planet. And Marvin's story, as one of the rarest animals in the world, is that in 2003, there were less than 30 left. And that's why they were called Canada's most endangered animal. Now, the cool thing is that Calgary Zoo and Toronto Zoo are great helpers to the marmots, because they breed marmots in captivity in the zoo. Then they put them on the airplane and they fly them to Vancouver Island on Mount Washington. And in the back of the book, these pictures were when I was hiking up in Mount Washington and we saw the marmots. And the reason why you can see them is that they put them out on Mount Washington first, because all of the hikers that hike around there, they scare away the cougars. The cougars are one of the marmot's greatest enemies. One of the really cool things about marmots is that they have different whistles for if they see a cougar or an animal that's going to scare them on the ground. And they have a different whistle if it's like a falcon, a peregrine falcon, or something that's a hawk that's going to scare them from the sky. So when we were there, we heard two different whistles. Us, because we were plodding along the trails, and then we saw some eagles, a golden eagle that was circling around and scared the marmots. So you can see them on Mount Washington if you go hiking there. They let them live there for a whole year, and then they load them up again in a plane and they take them to another area of British Columbia so that they can spread out and create their own colonies. So we're really, really hoping that you could become a mindful mate and share information about Marvin and all of his family and all of his buddies. If you go to my website, www.mindfulmarmot.com, there's all kinds of information on all of the mindful mates. Right now, I'm working with some classes around Ontario and United States and in Europe, and we are doing a campaign that's called Stand Up for the Little Guy, because a lot of the times we think when animals are endangered, we think of a panda or something that's really big. But when you think about marmots, and especially little Sassy, who I'm going to show you in a minute, some people don't even know what they are. So now there's 200 marmots, which is pretty exciting. Sassy is what we call a Pacific water shrew, and she is this big. And she has kind of an attitude. We have a sassy breath, and it goes like this. Try it with me, the sassy breath. This was made up by one of my grade 8s in my yoga club. So the cool thing about Sassy is that she has really special feet that have little fringes on them, little hair, and she can actually walk across water. And she is very bold. That's why in all of her stories, she has got an attitude. And then Bernie the Burrowing Owl, the cool thing about him is that he's not like a normal owl. He doesn't only come out at night to hunt. He hunts all day long and uses his big, strong legs to create burrows underground. One of the sad things is that because of climate change, because of all of the rainfall, that a lot of the burrows, a lot of the nests have flooded. And then that's what's caused their population to go down. Pardon me. And then the last one is Farouk, the black-footed ferret. Now his story is in this one. He's introduced in this story. And right now, there are no black-footed ferrets living in the wild in Canada. They are called extirpated. Try saying that, extirpated, 3 times really fast. Extirpated, extirpated, extirpated. What that means is that they only live in the country in captivity. So they only live at the Toronto Zoo and at the Calgary Zoo. So we're really, really hoping that we can help increase the prairie dogs, because they eat all kinds of prairie dogs, and that's what they need to be able to survive. One time they thought that there were no black-footed ferrets left. They said they were extinct. Try saying that. Extinct. 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 That means none left on the planet. And then this dog showed up down in the United States in Wyoming, and he had a black-footed ferret in his mouth. And then they went to their colony and they found this big colony of black-footed ferrets. Now, they brought them back to the zoo and unfortunately, all of them died except 7. And all of the black-footed ferrets that live now in North America are descendants of those 7. So we can work on being more aware, and then you can be a mindful mate and learn more about these animals that are in need of help. Because we know part of mindfulness is culturing our heart, is really focusing on being kind. First of all, to ourselves, being kind to ourselves, not judging ourselves, maybe recognizing that sometimes our thoughts aren't super kind, and really sending kindness to ourselves. And that is a practice. And I want to talk a little bit about how we can do that by sharing some of the things in our calming kit. So this is a kit, and you might have your own kit already. It's kind of interesting to watch and see what are in other people's calming kits. But this is just a kit that has tools in it to help us learn to focus, to practice calming down, and practice building our heart and opening our heart to other people. And also recognizing what's going on in our mind, building our brain. Because our brain is like a muscle. You have to practice in order to make it sharp and to make it work well. So we practice mindfulness every day, even if it's just stopping when you're walking outside and noticing, what do I hear right now? I could walk and walk. I could count my steps when I'm mindfully walking, and I could count. Another thing I can do, older kids, it's called 2-word walking. If I'm feeling a lot of anxiety, I can think of 2 words that bring me to my heart. Like when I was a teacher, I teach in a rural community, and parents, you'll love this. My 2 words were snow day. Snow day, snow day. Even though I absolutely love my job, as you can see, I'm still teaching. I have a mom who just retired for the 5th time. She taught for 56 years. So what we do is we choose 2 words that calm us down. Now they can be cupcake. It can be whatever you want. Bubble gum, whatever you want. And what we do is we attach them to our feet. So we walk and we say, bubble gum, bubble gum, bubble gum, bubble gum. What that does is when we are upset or when we are anxious, it's called flipping our lid. So if we can think about this is a well-functioning brain, a brain that's really focusing and paying attention because all of the parts are communicating, then when we get anxious or angry, we say Amy amygdala starts to fire all of these neurons and we flip our lid. We don't have any ability to make good decisions when we flip our lid, when we're super angry. So we can practice using our tools to calm ourselves down. For example, for older kids, on the double breathing. We breathe in for 2 and we breathe out for 4. And then we breathe in for 3. We breathe out for 6. Remembering that whenever we double the length of our exhale from our inhale, we calm down the amygdala of our brain. We reintegrate our brain. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We want to practice creating all of these pathways in our brain. This is our brain. We want all kinds of pathways to here, to the prefrontal cortex, Poindexter, the PFC, the prefrontal cortex of our brain. That's where we pay attention. That's where, parents, we make good decisions. This is the center of our morality. Okay, it's where we attune our communication, where we pause and reflect before we react. There's 9 executive functions that are affected during mindfulness practice. So let's practice an activity. So I have a calming kit right here that has all kinds of, whose was this? Oh, this was Bryce in my classroom. Thank you, Bryce. And so we had a calming kit that you could take to an area of the class to use, or sometimes we created one so that they could have it at home. And it has all kinds of different activities that help us become more mindful. So one of them, Marvin was rock hounding. And so what we can do is we can go outside and we can find a number of rocks. And we can use this as a mindfulness exercise. We can start off by looking at them and maybe feeling their temperature and noticing how heavy they are. And we can share all of this, parents, because this articulation of observation is super important. Because often we'll ask kids, what do you notice? And we're like, Marvin, nothing. I don't notice anything. And it's because they may not have the language to express it. So I would say, oh, I noticed that this is the smallest one. I also notice that I was with my family when I was walking, when I found this one. So when I look at it, it makes me feel really happy in my heart. I notice that these are very similar. And then I could ask them to put them in order from the ones that they like the most to the ones that they wouldn't care, pardon me, if they disappeared or not. And we can notice their texture. We can try to write with them. If we're teaching grade 4, we could notice their luster for our rocks and minerals unit. And then, so after we really spend some time mindful seeing, we can put them all in one hand and we can do what's called a loving kindness activity. And this is written up on my website. You put all of them in one hand and you think of 4 statements. I usually do it with 4 that bring you happiness in your heart. And you say, may I be filled with kindness, or may I be kind. And you take one rock, may I be kind, and I take a breath. And then I put it in my other hand and I breathe out. Okay. May I be healthy. May I be healthy. May I feel safe. May I feel safe. And you can make it up, whatever you like. May I feel free. May I feel free. Then we have them all in one hand, and you can go backwards or you can put them all in the other hand again, and then you can choose somebody to send kindness to. And you can picture them in your mind and say, may you be kind. Maybe if it's a mom or dad or a caregiver, May you know the amazing difference you are making in the world. Or I used to always do this one at school. May I be patient. And may I hold on till the end of the day. So you can choose whichever statements you want, and we just practice, and we practice, and we practice, and we create these pathways in our brain to help us have a kind heart. Now, we can take those rocks and we can paint them, and we can make one as may I, and then on the other ones, we can write, may I be mindful. May I be happy. May I be bold. May I be bold and take risks. May I be kind. And you can paint what you want to have as your affirmation, as your kind and friendly wish for yourself or for someone else. And those can be your stones that you practice with. So that's one thing in the calming kit. The other thing, and we know this is a squeeze ball. We're going to end off in about 10 minutes with a relaxation. And we know that when we squeeze our muscles super, super tight, tighter, and then relax, it is beautiful for your brain, right? We release serotonin, we reduce the cortisol, all of these neurotransmitters that cause havoc in our body. And so we can make a breathing squishy like this. We filled this with flour. And then we can draw little pictures of breaths that we want to practice. And we can change this. We used to change this, I don't know, once a month. And we would draw different breaths that we're going to practice that month, like the snake breath, or the volcano breath, or the wave breath. And so these are the breaths that we want to practice. And so we can practice squishing. I always say when we do these, I say these love to be squished. They don't like to be twisted. So we always have this flower explosion. Okay, so another thing that we can have is a
Sherilyn, I'm going to jump in because I think we're done with time.
Oh.
So we won't leave it open for questions just because there isn't really time. And but feel free to send us an email at Health Nexus, or Sherilyn's send her direct questions. She'll be happy with that. The information will be in the package that you'll get, so you can send questions, ask about the other things that can go into the toolbox. And with that, I just want to say thank you so much for everyone to be here, for the kids especially, for paying attention, for being mindful. Thank you for the parents, and thank you most of all to Sherilyn for sharing all those tools in your toolbox, the amazing strategies and stories, and the information about the almost extinct critters. So that was really lovely to hear too. So thank you, everyone, and also to our production crew who's done an amazing job. Thank you.